So I want to do a brief opening ritual that helps us to ground and to recognize that we're moving into a yoga class, and that it's a way for you to find multiple ways of connecting to your body, your breath, your thoughts. And so with your eyes closed, just take a couple rounds of breath, 4 or 5 rounds of breath, gently in and out. I'm going to do one chant of an Om and an invocation that is about grounding and centering into your heart. And just be with me, just let the moment just be present. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Sat Chit Ananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. I open my heart to the power of grace, that ever-present energy that is full of lightness and bliss. This is my true nature, and in this realm of experience and feelings and emotions, I recognize this higher presence within myself and its auspicious goodness. And release. Now come to your hands and knees, and we're just going to begin to do gentle movements, just kind of getting set up. So, with your hands at the front of your towel, just lean forward. And then with an exhale, lean back. Now I want you to do this a couple times. So you're just feeling that your hands and your knees and your feet are glued to the earth, and you're moving within that range. It's not how far you go, it's just feeling your body. Just feeling the gentle sense of openness. And now come more to a neutral hands and knees. Walk your knees back a little bit further so you can come into a deeper prayer pose. We're just stretching down. Push your seat back, lengthen through your sides. Keep a sense of openness so you can just feel, breathe. And now lift your shoulders up and walk your hands back. I'm going to turn and face you. So I want you to step your right foot forward and take both hands up to your right knee. And you'll notice that I'm mirroring you. So when I say right, I'm actually putting my left foot forward. And now I want you to lean into this and then draw back. Lean in. And then with an exhale, draw back. Lean into your front foot and stop here. And just take your arms by your side. Let the shoulders drop heavy. Roll your shoulders back so your heart is lifting up. And now we're going to release all the way down to the floor. Keep your front foot where it is, but lift your toes up so you pull back from the side view. You're pushing down into your heel and you're pulling in. And then release. Pull your front leg back and change sides. And then just begin that little exercise of rolling back and forth. You could push into your front knee if you like. So our first few moments in the class is just grounding into ourselves. Grounding into the body, grounding into feeling and sensation. We're also working with a gentle force. And these times that we're going through, we've been seeing a lot of how things don't work. Systems that don't work. Keep the rocking, keep the moving. And we're moving out of a forceful force into a gentle force. A way that works more for collaboration, emotions, feelings, and relationship. So now just pause, lift your shoulders, draw back so you're opening up in your chest, your heart, And you're feeling the shoulder blades drop heavy down. And now ease out of that. Hands to the floor. Lift your toes up. And you press from the heel down and pull up towards your belly. Integrating. And now lean forward, pull your front leg back, and just take a couple moments just to kind of move and stretch and roll. Once again, step your right foot forward, and now we're going to take both hands to the inside of that right leg, and just kind of lean down and melt. Don't be afraid to explore resistance, but don't hurt yourself. This gentle force will take you further and keep you healthy and safe. I want you to feel a melting and a dropping and a stretch in your hips and your legs and your butt, your shoulders. And now lift up. Pull your front leg back and step your left leg out in front. Both hands down to the floor, and from the side view, you just kind of lean into it, you push back a little bit, and you explore letting go. And now lift, pull your leg back, and now you're on your knees. If this is too much for you, you can put an extra blanket or fold your towel up a little bit more so you have comfort underneath your knees. That's really important. I'm going to have you step your right leg out to the side. This is kind of like a canoe with a little outrigger. You want to feel the steadiness here. So right hand to your right leg. Left arm up, just the cup behind the bowl of your skull. Take a couple moments to breathe. So I'm pulling from my extended leg up towards my waistline to create a steady base that I could pour myself out over now. So you just kind of tip towards your extended right leg. And you gradually just lift your arm and stretch. Now recognize that it's not a goal that you have to get your hand down to your leg or anything. It's how do you experience the grounding into the earth and its support, how you pull up from it and then expand back out. Beautiful organic integration of muscle balancing openness. Lift all the way up. Take a breath or two here. Pull your right leg in and extend out through your left leg. Check in that you feel grounded and steady. The base pulls in, and then you take your right hand to your head, left arm out to your leg. And from here, you just start to tip. Release your arm from your head and stretch out a little bit further. And release out. Breathe in. And now pull your leg in and take a couple moments in your hands and knees. We're going to come back to that, but this is just kind of like a little reset and a moment for you to move. And there's little poses I like to do, like the ankle wag, or just like wagging ankles here, left and right. You could do that, or you could just rock back and forth. Now let's come back up to stand on our knees. Reach your right leg out. And recognize that you're pulling from the periphery of your extended foot up towards your belly. We're drawing in. Now lift your left arm up and then tip out. Go a little bit deeper. What's going to make this a little bit further of a pose is you're going to pick your right hand up to your left wrist. And then you give yourself just a little tug. Now recognize what's too much and what feels just right. Stay on that part of the practice that's life affirming, that just kind of honors your stretch. And if anything I'm asking you to do is too much, you just pull out. And you just pick up the pace later on. And now lift all the way up. Extend your arms out to the sides. And now we're going to tip to the other direction, but I want you to take your left hand up towards your heart and your right arm over. This will challenge your balance a little bit. Oh yeah. Lift, release, and pull your extended leg in. Breath or two here. Now, reach out with your left leg, right arm up and to the side. Start to stretch out and lift your left hand to your wrist. And you pull. So here we're recognizing it's not how flexible, how bendy you are. It's how you meet the reality of where you are. In a compassionate way, in a gentle force that takes you to a new level of opening, doesn't pull muscles, doesn't overtax you, and always use your own best awareness and discernment to stop if it's a little too much of a stretch. And release all the way up, arms by your side. Pull your leg in and come back just to a neutral hands and knees. Step your right leg back and just push down into the floor. As you push down, pull from the arch of your foot to your belly. Connect the periphery to the center. Release that knee down. Left leg back. Push into the floor. And as you press down, pull from the arch of that back foot upward towards your belly. And release it. Widen your knees. We're going into a child pose. This is going to stretch out your hips and your thighs. So you just kind of set your butt back. Now some of you, if you're really tight in your legs, your seat's not going to get back towards your heels. If you're a little bit more open in the hips, you just kind of drop down. Now I want you to take a moment to reach your arms as far forward as you can, and like a cat clawing the carpet, sink your fingertips in and pull upward towards your armpits. And then melt your head down. Lift up and out of that into a neutral hands and knees. Step your right foot back and press down into the floor. We're just going to build on what we just did. And from here, lift your left arm up. Pulling your fingertips to your heart, your back arch upward towards your heart. Float your back leg. If this hurts, lower your foot back down. So here you're just balancing. But balancing with a gentle force, that means you don't have to do anything in particular. This is all play. This is exploring. Release. Hands and knees down. Take a couple moments just to move. As I turn here, I'm going to have you step your left leg back. Right arm forward. Integrate, pulling in, and then lift up. Keep your breath calm and steady. And release all the way down. And once again, be fluid, roll, just stretch any way that you like, or be still if that's your preference. Now we're going to come back to where we were earlier. I'm going to have you step your right foot forward. Push down into your front knee and lean into it. So you want to get a sense that you're pulling forward from that back knee. That's going to stretch out the front of your right thigh. And you drop your tailbone down like a doggy who's tucking her tail between her legs when she's chastised. That little downward scoop will move your belly back and give you more steadiness in the core of your body. Here we're going to lift our arms, elbows as high as your shoulders, and start to tip your fingers further and further back. Lift your heart, and if you like, stretch your arms out straighter and straighter. Feel the lengthening of your spine, the deepening of the root of your shoulder going further back, and it should feel like your heart and face are pushing forward. Lower your hands to your heart. This creates balance, centering in a moment of grace. Release your hands and then pull back, hands and knees, before we do the second side. Take a moment here just to breathe. Take a sip of water if you like. And when you're ready to join me, step your left foot out in front. Land into your feet. So there's a downward push, roots you into earth. And then that energy lifts up through you, and we're going to just gradually take it into a big stretch here. Elbows up as high as your eyes. Then start to push your arms further back. Remember, it's not a challenge of how far can I go into the pose. It's what do I do to progressively take myself to a further place of gentle empowerment, of a gentle force lifting me and stretching me out. So I'm not competing with myself or anybody. Hands together to your heart, and then all the way down to the floor. Pull your leg back and take a moment. We're going to come to downward facing dog. And one of the things I like you to do when we come into neutral hands and knees, you'll step one leg back and then the second leg back, and you can be in plank pose. Then you lift your seat higher up and bend your knees so you have a springlet quality in your legs. Let's do that now. Hands at the front of your mat or towel. Step one leg back. Push down into the earth to hold up your torso. Step the second leg back. And now lift your seat higher and bend the knees so you push down into your hands, down to your feet. The bend in your knees will really relax the low back so you don't round too much. Don't worry about getting your heels to the floor. Now slowly start to walk your feet forward to your hands. And then take your hands up to the top of your thighs. That's called a supported chair pose. With your hands on the top of your thighs, you let the weight of your seat drop towards your heels. And if this is too much to get your forearms to your thighs, take your hands there and rest. So your upper body is being supported by your legs and your waistline. Breathe. Now push into the earth to lift and come all the way up to a standing pose. Breathe. Have your feet a little wider than your hips so you can just kind of shift your weight from side to side. We're just going to roll. Little swaying, rocking motions. And I like to tell students that you can close your eyes here for a moment if you feel like kind of inhibited about kind of like twirling. You want to be able to go into that remembrance of what it was like to be a kid, just playing on a beautiful sunny day out on a lawn, just having fun, not trying to do anything, just paying attention to the quality of your being. And gradually let that settle down, step your feet back in so they're just as wide as your hips. I'm going to have us move through little steps forward and then little steps back. Maybe 2 or 3 steps on each side. So start with your right leg and just take a step forward, and then your left, and then right. Then back. And I just want you to do this. Doesn't have to look or be anything particular. You're just feeling your feet as you go backwards and forwards, little steps. There. Come to the very front of your mat or your towel and step your left leg back. This is what we call the base for Warrior One pose. So here you want to be able to lean into this a little bit, and that will relieve pressure on your low back. Draw your shoulders back so you feel the stretch in your pectoral muscles in your chest. And in the back plane, the shoulder blades come closer together and drop heavy downward. Now I'm really pushing into my back leg to help my low ribs come forward and my throat go back. So I want you to experience this. Remember, we're playing with a gentle force, so you don't have to really, oomph it into a big stretch. You want to feel. You want to be at ease in your skin and bones. And you can always stop at any moment. And now straighten your front leg. You want to feel your feet rooted to the earth, so they're going to hold you as you begin to back bend a little bit. Leaning back. Now I'm going to turn to show you from the side view. Your back leg is a support, your front leg is grounded, and you're pulling up. And then here with your heart full and expansive, you just lean back. And now come out of that. Lean forward and sweep your arms up so your wrists lift upward and your shoulder melts downward towards the level plane where your hip is. Now, a little micro bend in your front leg will keep you from hyperextending. Stretch down. And all the way back up. Step forward. Take a moment just to shake your legs loose. Step your right leg back. Bend the front knee and lean into this. Feel the push that you're doing in your front leg down into the earth. And then there's this kind of like a rebound energy that comes up. Pulls up here in your pelvis. Drops back down into your back leg. Lift your heart, lean back. And now lean forward a little bit, straighten your front leg. Lift your shoulders. And start to draw the top of your shoulders and throat back. Low ribs still come forward. And your arms drop heavy. Ease out of that. Lean forward and step and come back to supported chair pose. While you're in that pose, I just want you to let go in your mind. Feel how your arms and your legs hold up your torso. Let your breath just flow. And push to come all the way back up to standing. Take a moment to let your legs kind of shake out and move. We're going to work with a pose that's called Goddess Warrior. And it's that same alignment with the legs and the arms, but we're going to add a reach of the arm and a sweep of one of the arms back to the back leg. So step your right leg forward. Square your hips so they face to the front. And now lift your elbows. Lean forward and start to stretch up through your arms. Now we're going to lower your left arm down and take it to the top of your back left leg. And as you push down, use that to lift your heart and send your fingers higher up. Now, straighten your front leg as you come out. Slowly just fold forward. And I'm going to invite you to interlace your fingers behind your waist. If that's too much for your shoulders, just push your arms towards each other. Take your breath in and give it away as you fold. Just balance here for a few moments. And lift all the way up. Take your hands to your heart and step forward. Now back with your right leg as I turn. You could just stay facing forward. Lean into this, pull in, press back down. There's this gentle force that connects the periphery to the center and back out. And that force is a compassionate force. So I want you to be your own best advocate here as you lean and stretch and melt your heart. Now, elbows up. Stretch your arms overhead and back. Lower your right arm down into the back and top of your back leg. Pressing down, lift and stretch further, deeper. And release all the way out, straightening your front leg. Sweep your left arm back. Interlace your fingers if you can. Pull your elbows wide and fold forward. Lift your shoulders. Hands to your heart. And when you're ready, lean forward and step to the front of your mat or towel. And release your hands. I want you to just kind of shift your weight in your feet a little. And then stop. Feel that squeeze in, ankles towards each other, your hips gently going back, tailbone dropping. And you lift and expand out. In fact, you could even take a moment here with your eyes closed. Just to feel the beat of your heart, the rhythm of your breath. Feel that there's gentle forces moving through you. And now let it go. Just soften out. All right, good. Keep it soft. We're going to move with the opening up in a pose. So have you step your left leg back. And you could do this on your towel or mat, or you could turn in any way that you can see me. Take your forearm down to your front thigh, and your back hand up to your hip. And I'm gently rolling this shoulder back. Now we tend to lean forward and kind of collapse, so I want to make sure that you're rolling back here. So there's a nice line from your back, heel, front heel, and shoulder. We're going to come up to a pose called Warrior 2. So you push into your front foot to lift your torso and you unfurl your arms. Like a bird flying in the sky. Think of your arms holding you up against the weight of gravity that's pulling you down. Release your hands. Turn, step in. Now we're going to do the same pose, second side. Right leg back. Left arm down to your front thigh. And again, we're slowly drawing the top shoulder back. So one part feels like it's being pulled to the earth, but you are gently channeling the force and the effort to roll you open, to stretch you out. Look down towards your front foot. Unfurl your arms for warrior two. And without changing your leg movement, you just lift. So we want to feel the power, but not be in a competition with yourself or anyone else. You're just feeling it, owning it, and then you relax. You could step in, shake it out, just roll. And come back to a moment of just kind of gently twirling your arms. This kind of is like a reset for the brain. Nothing to do, no one's judging. You want to be playful as a kid on the playground. And now stop. Our next pose is called Humble Warrior. So step your right foot forward. And now we're going to keep our shoulders facing the front. We're going to interlace our fingers behind the waistline, or you push your palms towards each other if they don't touch. If you have soreness in your shoulder, that could be a challenge. And from here, as I lean forward, I want you just to kind of lean to that inside of your front leg and drop down. So that front right shoulder starts to drop lower and lower. If you fall out or lose your balance, just come back. Keep it light. Keep it gentle. And just go in deep as it feels good for you to explore. And slowly start to lift up. Release your arms and lift them to the sky. Full warrior one pose. And now hands to your heart. Lean a little forward and step forward. Catch your breath. Gentle force means we're aware, moving slow, and from the heart. Second side. Right leg back, left leg forward. Lean forward. Draw your shoulders back and interlace your fingers. Deep breath in, humble warrior. And again, as you do this pose, move in a gentle way that keeps your mind curious, watching where you open, where your limits are. And then come all the way up. Release your arms. Reach your arms to the sky. Hands to your heart. Release, lean forward and step to the front of your mat and come back to supported chair pose. Forearms on the top of your thigh. And now lift all the way back up. Stand for a moment. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, just being present in your body. When we learn to be at ease when we're under stress, like these poses are stressful. They're challenging the body to move in a certain way, maybe a way that we don't usually do. When we take the time to be at ease as we experience stress, we'll be able to tap into that more gentle force and power that moves us into a place of creation, a spontaneity of awareness. So everything that we do on the yoga mat is designed to take us further off the mat, how to connect from the heart, how to feel the strength in your own power. Okay? So legs nice and wide. You can either be wide on your mat like this, or you could step wider than your towel or your mat. Take your hands up to the top of your thighs on the outside. And as you start to fold down, just kind of push down, taking your hands just about to the top of your knees. Use your breath to keep you centered and at ease. Now we're going to go down through little stages. Take your hands to the top of your calves. This may be as far as you want to go, depending on how tight your legs are, your waist, your arms. If you want to go a little bit deeper into the pose, you slide your hands down to your ankles or directly below your shoulders. If you have yoga blocks, this is a place where you would push into them here. But if you don't, hands to your legs is just fine. Now, hands back up to the top of your thighs. It's a little push down. Lift your torso up. We're going to slide the heels in a little closer. Call this the rider stance, as if you were on top of a big elephant. And you just kind of be rolling from side to side. So your heels are closer than your toes. And you just roll. And now lift all the way up. Keep your legs wide, but now make your feet parallel to each other. Breathe. Bend your knees. Take your hands just the top of them and drop the weight of your seat down. And we're going to do a little roll and movement with the breath. So, hands push down to your knees. Draw a deep breath in. And when to tip the right shoulder down and look off to your left. So breath in, exhale, drop down, and then turn. Inhale, lift. And with an exhale, drop your left shoulder. Inhale up. Exhale. Keep the roll and the movement with the breath. And you get to choose how deep you go into this. And one more time each side. And lift, step in. Little movements from side to side. Okay, I'm going to bring us down to seated postures where we're going to start to wind down a little bit. And again, this is a time you might want to pause, take a drink of water if that feels right for you. And we're going to come down. If sitting down would be supported a little bit better with a little pillow or a cushion, you can put it underneath your butt. Otherwise, a block if you had one, where you could sit on. To me, it really just depends on what you feel in your hips. I like the hips a little higher than the knees. And we're going to take our hands just underneath your left leg. So my right knee is down and I'm mirroring, and your left leg will be out in front. Take your hands underneath your thigh and lean back. So your front foot is rooted in the floor. And your back bending. Again, the upper body's rolling back. And that pull on your thigh gives you a little support. Lower your chin. And here I want you to lift the left leg up. Your arms are straight so the weight of your leg balances the lean back of your shoulders. Release your foot to the floor and take both hands to the inside of your front left leg and melt down. Now lift up, and we're going to change sides. So you drop down through your left knee, right foot out in front, hold underneath your thigh, and with your front foot pushing down into the floor, lean back. Draw your shoulders back. You want to keep the spine lengthening away from the drop of your lower body down towards the earth. So there's this gentle force that moves through you, lengthening you, opening you, giving you the confidence just to play. With an inhale, pull forward, lift your right leg up, and balance the weight of the leg with the shoulders dropping back. If this is too much for you, it's perfectly fine to have your foot down on the floor. Release your foot, and now take both feet out in front. And whether you're sitting on the floor, or on a pillow, or on a block, I want you just to drape your arms around your outer knees and melt down so your torso goes between your thighs. Lift all the way up. Take your hands behind you and lean back. Now lower your chin, and we're going to come all the way to your back. And when you come to your back, I want you to take a moment just to hold onto your knees and kind of pull them towards your outer shoulders. Roll from side to side, move in any way you want, or just be still if that's your preference. Oh yeah. And you can just roll side to side. And then just gradually pull your knees wide apart and back towards your shoulders. Take your feet down to the floor, and with both hands, push right into the upper thigh, right near your groins where your torso meets your legs. And you push away. This just draws the upper thigh bones a little further out of the hip socket, opens up, stretches those muscles. And now release that. Breathe. Have your feet close enough that you can touch them with your fingertips here. And we're going to come up into a bridge pose. So when you do a bridge, you push into your feet to lift your butt. And now roll your shoulders as deep underneath as you can. And we keep a little softness in the groins so your butt feels heavy. And you could push your knees forward away from the direction of your face. Lower your seat down. Slide your right leg out straight and pull your left leg back. And we're just pulling it out towards the shoulder as we push and lengthen long through your extended right leg. And then release. Both feet to the floor. Little rolls from side to side. Now we're going to do the second side. Extend out through your left leg, pull the right knee back, And gently stretch, roll open a little to the outside. And release both feet to the floor. Take a couple moments just to let gravity pull you down. So we're winding down quickly. We're just going to be moving stiller and stiller. So here, we're going to take the arms into a cactus shape with the back of your hands towards the floor, and we're going to tip the knees to your left. Both feet stay on the floor and about hip width wide, and you look over your right shoulder. Once again, I'm mirroring, doing the opposite. Lift your knees. You could even scoot your hips a little bit over to the left and tip your knees to the right. Turn your gaze. Look over your left shoulder. And now release. Take a moment just to wag your knees and your hips. With your right leg still knee bent and your foot pushing down, raise the left leg up and hold behind the thigh. And we're just going to push your thigh away from the direction of your face as you pull towards your shoulders. You can stay just like this, or if you want to go a little bit deeper in the stretch, you extend out through your bottom leg. A gentle force means you're aware and you're moving in a way that serves your body and doesn't overstretch. So the mind is kept curious and observant. And now let's change sides. Reach up through your right leg. Not overstretching and not falling asleep. You're stretching and exploring your realm, your range, your experience in this moment. Release that out. Both feet on the floor. Take a couple breaths before we do another bridge pose. Arms by your side with the palms facing up. That helps the outer shoulders to roll down. And you pull your heels back so you can touch them with your fingertips. Draw a breath in. And then with an exhale, push into your feet, lift your seat up and press your knees forward. And lift up so you can roll your shoulders underneath. The shoulder blades come very close together. Lower all the way down. Take a moment to breathe. So just one or two more poses. This is going to be a rolling open twist. So I want you to scoot your hips to the left edge of your mat and roll in into a fetal position. So your knees are down. If you want to put something like a pillow or bolster between your knees, you could do that. And depending on how much room you have behind you, you just want to lift your left arm up and roll it back. You might even just reach it out and stretch. Your bottom right hand could support the top left leg. And now roll over. You're going to come to your back. You're going to do the second side. So I'm going to just pivot around. Pull your knees up and extend your arms out. And lift up through the right arm and roll it back and stretch. Come out of your twists. Roll all the way to your back. And here I want you to do any little movements, any little stretches. Take the next few moments just to explore. And we're going to just stop, lay on our back, and as you rest, I'm just going to take you through a little guided meditation. So I want you to have your legs out, arms facing the sky. If you want to stop and put a little pillow underneath your legs to raise them up or under your knees to support that, that can help you move into a deep, relaxed state. Close your eyes. Feel your body weight drop down into the earth. Feel the rhythm of your breath, deep and steady, getting quieter and stiller as you get more relaxed in your Shavasana. Feel how your body naturally knows how to function. Your heart beats, your breath flows. Your circulatory system carries oxygen to the furthest reach of your being. There's a gentle force that is moving through your body in harmony with the highest intentions of what you want to experience with this yoga class. Of being open, stretched, aware of where you are in space and time. We'll be here for just another 2 minutes. Now begin to deepen your breath. Roll through your shoulders, stretch in any way you like. And then gradually I want you to roll over onto your right side. Use your upper body strength to lift yourself up to seated posture. Get comfortable in whatever seated posture you want, whether you sit on your heels like I am or crisscross on a block or in a chair, doesn't matter. Just taking a moment to be grateful, to appreciate the friends that you have in your life, the abundance that you experience, and the recognizing that the stresses that we experience in our life, the pressures that are moving us, the forceful pressures can be mollified by how we respond, how we react, how you choose to perceive life is a way of recognizing that obstacles and challenges are the fertilizer that makes your garden grow. They're the stuff that gives you an opportunity to go deeper into yourself, into your feelings, to honor your own strength and your own gentle power. So I'm going to have you take your hands to your heart. And whether you want to join me for one closing Om or just keep the breath moving inward and still. If you choose to join me, draw a deep breath in. And we bow to the teacher within us, the higher wisdom that's percolating out, and the knowledge that we are spiritual beings having a human existence, moving through all that we experience, discovering who we are, what works, what doesn't work, and how we could find the gentle force and power within ourselves to take us to the next and best, highest level. Namaste.